All right. Good morning. So, due to some phone calls and technical difficulties this morning, we're a little bit later than normal. That's okay. We're still here, right? Never give up and just keep going. It's another day. So, thanks for participating today in my continuing education. All right. Life always has its challenges. We just get through them, right? That's what you do. Don't stress over it because that doesn't do you any good. Definitely doesn't. And then it brings up that stress hormone that's not good for us, which we're going to talk about a little bit here. So thank you again for joining my continuing education. We do this every Monday morning. Typically it's at 9 a.m. and not 9:15, but well, like I said, we had a few little niches or little glitches here and there, so now this is where we're at. A little bit about me. I actually chose to get into this journey with doTERRA because I did not know what essential oils were. I did some research and felt that doTERRA was the best there was when it comes to essential oils because of the integrity of the company. It's not just the product. You got to look at the company and the people behind that company. And also, coming from 30 years in the dental field, there were things that I knew about, but I really didn't know really what it was all about, what the true background was on certain products that have essential oils in them, or what made it so significant, right? So if we really understand essential oils, it gives us a better idea of what our medications are like, and the products that have, like clove, especially in the dental field, clove is number one for a number of reasons. And that reasoning is because it's really helpful with dental, right? And pulling infection out and numbing. It's a great oil. If you've never tried it and you have dental issues, try it. Just be careful. It's a very hot oil. It does numb your tongue too. So be careful where you place it. And so knowing the background of essential oils is totally amazing because every single essential oil out there has a signature to it. It has what they call the compounds within the essential oil. That is usually the derivative, or they take the highest compound, the biggest one. Let's say, for instance, like a really one that you will relate to is like wintergreen, for instance. Wintergreen has a compound called menthol silicate. That menthol silicate is that warming sensation. So any product that you get on the shelf that has anything warming in it, if you look on the ingredient list, it'll be part of that ingredient list, that menthol silicate. Well, that's the cheapest, easiest compound to reproduce, and 90% of what's out there on the market or what's in a product is synthetic. So they reproduce it synthetically. Well, here's what I will say about different products. When it is man-made, okay, you can't reproduce Mother Nature 100%, because what happens is you lose the parts or the components. It'd be like baking, okay? If you leave out a certain ingredient, like if you leave out an egg, and you use baking soda, guess what? It doesn't rise, okay? It doesn't look as good. So if when you have a complete, all these compounds that make that particular essential oil, if you take one away and don't have the rest of them, you can't reproduce it the same. So just keep that in mind when you think about essential oils. And another thing is to think about is, what's the integrity of the company and what does it say on the bottle? Majority of your essential oils out there on the shelf, even though it says 100%, does not mean that's truly what you're getting, okay? There's no regulations, nothing regulates essential oils, and so companies can do exactly what they want. So that is highly something that I recommend that you do your research, really know what you're putting on your body, because anything you put on you goes in you, okay? So let's talk about that real quick. There are 3 ways to use essential oils. The first one is just by smelling it, okay? You would take the lid off. That's the number 1. Take the lid off and simply smell it. Just breathe it in, right? Okay, so it attaches, the molecules attached to our nose hairs, which goes into the olfactory, which gets into our bloodstream. Some essential oils actually pass the blood-brain barrier. This is one I just smelled, frankincense, number 1 for neurological problems or issues. And so knowing that it goes in your body, gets into your bloodstream, think about everything that you put on your body. What chemicals are you putting in there? What's in your shampoo? What's in your soap? Those are the things all of us use every single day. So think about what you're putting on you and in you. Even the foods that we eat, okay? Think about it. What is there that you can't pronounce on the label? And if you start learning how to be a label reader, you're going to be going, oh my gosh, and we wonder why we're sick these days, or we have so much disease, especially here in the United States. So that's the first thing, is aromatic. The aromatic response is I like it or I don't like it, okay? If you love it, you're going to use more. If you don't like it, you're not going to, okay? There's other things behind that, but we're not going to go into that today because we don't have time for that. And then you have topical application, what I just talked about, is everything that you put on you goes in you. It gets into your bloodstream. It soaks in. So when that soaks in, that's what you're doing, is you're getting it into your bloodstream. It's not going through the digestive system. However, you can ingest certain essential oils, not all of them, okay? Now, this is where it gets a little bit complicated, I would say, because there are people that think that you should not ingest essential oils. Well, you have to know there's do's and don'ts. You have to know how potent those essential oils are. Does it have a label that says you can ingest it? Okay, so like frankincense, for instance, okay, on doTERRA, here's a supplement fact. Let me show you here. And it says supplement fact, okay? And it actually says that you can dilute 1 drop in 4 fluid ounce of water. What it means is the essential oil that's in this bottle meets the standards of the GRAS standard, so generally regarded as safe for consumption. So instead of going to the store and reaching for imitation, so this is where the controversy comes in. I'm like, okay, so it's okay for us to go and consume something that's imitation. What else is in there besides alcohol? Because majority of your flavor comes from your peppermint or whatever, lavender, you put it in alcohol and you let it sit there for a while. And that's what you're getting. You're getting a flavor that way, but why not use the real thing? It's cost effective. You know, most of the time you're only using the dip of a toothpick. It can last you for months or years even, okay? So aromatic, topical, and internal consumption. If you don't like the taste of it and you think you need it internally, so if anything digestive, think about that way. If it's meant for internal consumption, put it in an empty capsule and swallow it that way, okay? That's what we do. If you want to find more about that, there's plenty of evidence on online anymore. That's what's really nice, is we have everything at our fingertips, right? So why would you think about essential oils? Why would you even think about incorporating them into your life? So first off, they're 50 to 70 times more powerful than an herb. So if you're eating the herb, if you were to take like a whole pound of oregano, which is quite a bit, and most of us wouldn't eat that much, and just get the oil out that lays on the surface on those leaves, then that's what you're consuming. So one drop, so in case of oregano, one drop of oregano can go a long way. And please, I'll dilute any oil, essential oil that is a hot oil, okay? I'm meaning by like the cinnamon and clove, oregano. Those are all essential oils that blending them with a carrier oil, which in this case we like to use fractionated coconut oil. Fractionated coconut oil is not, everybody understands what coconut oil is, but this is the liquid. There's no solids in it, or even vegetable oil, but those have bigger molecules and they don't soak into your skin very well. Well, fractionated coconut oil does. There's also sunflower seed oil, there's olive oil, but there again, think of how well it blends or it soaks into your skin. A lot of them leave a greasy residue, and that's not what you want. Okay, so now that you know what essential oils are, let's get into my topic today. So my topic is sleep. How important is sleep to us, okay? And this is something that I recently was asked to talk about at a health class on proper eating and nutrition. And it's like, it's good to know that sleep has a big factor in our weight. Did you know that? So it's true. So what happens when you don't get enough sleep is our bodies cannot take time off, okay? It's kind of like if you were on your computer 24/7, at some point, you know, if you unplug it, you've got to plug it back in because the battery wears down, right? So our battery is the same way. We have to recharge our battery. And that's every single system in our body. This is the time when we sleep. This is that time when it relaxes and it reboots, okay? You can probably all relate to that, is we just have to have time to reboot that, or we have to have time to back up, right? So if we're backing up our systems so that it can relax and just get back to harmony, get back to balance, right? And did you know that, since I asked about the weight, if that's a factor in weight, did you know that 89%, it's a factor in 89% of our children? That's astounding. And it's 55% in our adults, okay? So what's a good night's sleep? Anything, it should be at least 7 to 8 hours, okay? If you're only getting 3, 4, maybe 5 hours at night and you think that's all you need, you're wrong. You need more. There's many reasons beyond this, but we don't have time to get into every little factor. I'm going to cover the basics, okay? And you need more for just what I said. It's letting the body reboot, okay? And in our society, especially United States, obesity, this is a factor in our obesity, besides other things. There's a lot of reasons for that, but this is a big reason, is because we don't sleep properly. And because of that, it creates, the lack of sleep creates a lot of disorders for our body, like sleep apnea. Who do you know that has sleep apnea? Or they're gaining weight and you don't know why, okay? Lack of sleep produces hormones, different hormones, okay? So we have ghrelin, and it's spelled Gherlin, so ghrelin. And then we also create leptin and cortisol. Okay, so what do all those mean, right? So ghrelin is a hormone that signals the brain that you're hungry. Okay, so when you feel hungry, your body's producing a whole lot more of that. And leptin is a hormone that is, it's suppressing your hunger, but it comes from the fat cells, okay? Cortisol, I know everybody's heard of cortisol. That's a stress hormone. How much stress is in your life? Stress can be everything from thinking I'm going to be late getting out the door to financial, marriage, children. There's plenty of stress factors out there. Which one are you? So what happens is the brain produces more cortisol, and so therein it creates more ghrelin, so it makes you think you're hungry. Okay, you're really not hungry. It's just what's being produced in your body. So if you get away from that, so if you all of a sudden are gaining weight, but you're not sure why, you're eating, you think you're eating right, okay, so you're eating, or you're eating like you should, okay, or eating normal even, or how about those snacks at night? What are you snacking on at night, and what are you doing that, and think about your sleep pattern. What is your sleep pattern like? Never thought about that before, did you? You thought, well, why am I gaining weight? Well, this is part of it, okay? So adequate sleep helps the brain function correctly to make the right choices and fight those cravings, okay? If you don't, your body, there again, it can't reboot, okay? It can't bring that response down. It can't relieve a little bit of that, all those hormones that we're producing that make you feel hungry, for one, and then create other disorders. So sleep, by making those right choices, your brain, instead of being sleep deprived, actually now is producing more of the leptin, which is that suppressant. Okay, so now we're getting things out of our fat cells, so our body is doing what it's supposed to do. We're not supposed to store the fat. We're supposed to only store so much. So the frontal lobe up here is in charge of making those decisions of self-control. Okay. In addition, the reward centers of the brain are more stimulated by food when you're sleep deprived. Okay, so that's that chemical soup, as I call it. You get all these chemicals flowing, and your body can't relax. Your body can't do what it's supposed to. So it's in that flight mode all the time. So if you've ever heard of the fight or flight, okay, well, this is your fight mode. You're not fighting, you're fighting. So getting a lot of rest, enough rest, is so important for your health. So your metabolism, and the number of calories that your body burns when you're completely at rest. So if you think about your what's called RMR, or your resting metabolic rate, is the number of calories your body burns when you're completely at rest, okay? So if you've ever heard people say, well, I've been losing weight and I just get at this plateau and I can't seem to lose any more weight. Well, what's the sleep pattern like, okay? And then are we taking any fats out of our cells? Are we resting enough to be able to do that? That's another thing to think about. Poor sleep decreases the amount of calories you burn. Let me say that again. Poor sleep decreases the amount of calories that you burn. A lack of sleep can cause daytime fatigue. How sleepy are you during the day? Do you feel like you need cat naps all the time? They also make you less likely and less motivated to go out and do something, or exercise, or just simply go out and walking, okay? What are you not doing for your body? So this is why I say sleep is so important. Stress is, reducing that stress factor is another one. We have to really think about it, that when we're not sleeping the right amount of sleep, it creates a whole different world for us. There was a few years ago at Leadership with doTERRA that they actually got somebody that's a renowned, I forget his name, unfortunately, but he was renowned and known throughout the globe for being a scientist about sleep, okay? what's the importance of sleep. And the things that he went through and told us were like, oh my gosh, I had no idea, no clue, because people don't know. So this is why I do my continuing education, is what do we not know that we should know? Because education is power, one way or another. Whether you use essential oils or not, it's knowing what you can do for your body and help it be better, okay? And we just happen to have essential oils that can help us in reducing so part of that, okay, and helping us go to sleep, especially if we have a hard time. But if you're that one person that says, I gotta get this done, I gotta get this done, it's like, you know, it'll be there tomorrow, unless you have a deadline, okay? But you can't do that every single time. And even if you're a teenager, you've got these teenagers, or even you, okay? During the week, you're going to work, right? You get up a certain time, you go to bed a certain time. Children do the same thing. Go to bed a certain time, get up a certain time. But come the weekend, how many of us are weekend warriors? Oh my gosh, we can stay up all night, right? And then come Monday morning, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. There's a reason for that. You cannot disrupt your clock. And that means your entire body. Don't disrupt your clock. It will take weeks to make up for that. Yeah, in fact, you really don't make it up. You can't. All those chemicals that we're talking about, all those hormones that we're talking about are unbalanced. They totally get off whack, okay? So in thinking about that, those poor choices, poor sleep causes cells to become insulin resistant as well. Okay, so how many diabetics are out there that you know that are not heavy? Okay, I know lots of them that are not heavy, and you look at them and go, wow, you're diabetic? Why? And a lot of it has to do with their stress in their life and the fact that they don't get enough rest. Okay, got to think about that. So insulin is a hormone that moves the sugar through the bloodstream into your body's cells to be used as energy. And if it can't do that, then you've got problems. So when cells become insulin resistant, more sugar remains in the bloodstream and the body produces more insulin to compensate for. It has to be that good balance. We're talking about balance again. The excess insulin makes you hungrier, and it tells the body to store more calories as fat. Do you want me to read that again? Or say that again? The excess insulin makes you hungrier and tells the body to store more calories as fat. Therefore, weight gain. Okay? Insulin resistance is a precursor for both type 2 diabetes and weight gain. Okay, so we already know that, usually it's because you're insulin dependent. So people that are pre-diabetic, not only do they have to look at their calorie intake, but look at their sleep patterns, okay? That's so important. You feel like you're hungry all the time, and here's what I will say. Start drinking more water and sleep more. Get more rest and drink more water. All of us should be drinking half of our weight. So here we go. Here's a thought for the day. Half of your body weight, whatever that is, divide it in half. And then divide that in by ounces. There are 16 ounces to every pound. Okay? So if you think about how much water intake you have to drink, oh my gosh, that's gallons, right? You can't do that in one day. Please don't do that in one day, because you can go to the hospital if you drink too much water altogether in one day. Just to let you know that. You have to accumulate it, right? You have to let your body be used to it. It's just like exercising, okay? You start today for 2 minutes, work up for a week, next week go 5 minutes, and the next week go 10 minutes. You can't overdo it, because if you overdo it, what happens? We don't want to go do it because you're sore, you're tired, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go do that anymore, right? Because it bothers you. So when you think about learning something new or doing something new, do a little bit, do increments. Get yourself up to where you want to be. Yes, we have a goal. What is your goal? Do you want to work out for 30 minutes every day? Obviously, you're not going to start the first day for 30 minutes because tomorrow you're going to go, I don't want to do that today. I'm too sore. So don't do that. Go 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes, even if that means a brisk walk up and down your driveway for a few times. Just do that. You'd be amazed how much better you feel when you just do that little bit, okay? So this is so important as we go through the day and think about our water intake, think about what we're doing. There are so many essential oils that we can use to help us sleep or help the body calm down. If you have the anxiety going on, I know this is a really good one. This is called Clary Calm. I know it's backwards, okay? This has a lot of calming oils in it. Lang Lang, bergamot, lavender. It's a great oil. And yes, this is meant for women, for hot flashes and cramping, things like that. Putting it on topically works like a charm, okay? But you men out there can use this also, okay? It's not just for women. Even though the bottle says so, it's not, okay? I really wish that we would, but most women will use this because of that fact. There's another product called Intune from doTERRA. I don't know if you can see this. This is not a clear bottle. There we go. This is another one that's really great if you got children that have a little bit of difficulties with toning them down. So you've got sandalwood and patchouli, you've got frankincense, lang lang, and you got, so you actually have two sandalwoods in here. You have Indian sandalwood and Hawaiian sandalwood. doTERRA is the only one with Hawaiian sandalwood, just so you know that, okay? And then there's Roman chamomile in here too, which we all know chamomile tea, what's it supposed to do? Oh, sleepy time, right? There's a reason for it. Frankincense is another really good one, okay? Frankincense can help in reducing neurological, be thinking about all these thoughts, right? How do you get your body to shut off this up here? Serenity, balance, everything to help in reducing those stress hormones, okay? Enhancing focus, or it's stimulating alertness, or whatever it is that you need in your life. There's an essential oil that can help with that. And also there is one for children. There's one that's called Peaceful Child. If you look that up online, you can get a recipe for that. doTERRA recently came out with a, while supplies last, one that was similar to that, and was like, oh my gosh, I need more of that. But of course you can't get any more of it. I should have bought a whole bunch of them, but only bought a couple of them. It was called, there is one, it's called One. And then the other one is called, oh geez, I can't think of it at the moment. Can't think of it. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, you can't get them right now. But all three of these, I don't know if you can see these labels, there is Balance, Serenity, and Vetiver, okay? Those three things, three essential oils together are so good for helping calm your body, and especially in children, okay, or adults that have that, they just seem to go from one room to the next and you're like, they're running circles around you. Give them something to bring them back down a little bit, because that's another factor in life that we have to let the body relax. How do you do that? And so even the simple citrus like wild orange can do that for us, because it's whatever helps the body or the mind just relax and calm. doTERRA has a great supplement called well, it's the Serenity Soft Gels, and what that is I don't have them here, but they're little soft gels that you can take. They're only about maybe that big. That you take a couple minutes or excuse me, 30 minutes before you go to bed, take 2 of those. One thing that when you go to bed, don't watch the news, turn the TV off, because most of us have a TV in our bedroom. Don't watch it. Read a book, okay? Find something that helps in relaxing the mind. Turn off the electronics. Take a couple of soft gels by doTERRA, and that will help produce the chemicals needed to sleep and reduce the other chemicals that are unwanted or too many chemicals too. And it helps balance those hormones out so that you can sleep. Helps shut off all this up here so that you can sleep. And it's worked for many, 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 many people. If you don't have them, it's just whatever can you do? Go get the Roman chamomile tea or whatever it is, any sleepy time tea, or just a simple drink some tea at night. Relax the body so that it goes into that, oh, I'm supposed to relax and go to sleep now. We have the little triggers, okay? That's why when we start waking up in the mornings, how many of you will start waking up as soon as the light starts coming through the window? It's a trigger. Even though our eyes are shut, it's a trigger, and our brain responds to the light. So when it's dark, we start feeling tired. When the light comes, we start waking up. So I really feel sorry for those that work at night and have to sleep during the day, because they're just not going to be well, typically, okay, because they're doing other things during the time or during the day besides sleeping. So that's kind of it, all in a nutshell. And I've already kind of gone over my time period here. So many things. If you want in on this every Monday morning, you can be in my remind system, which is the @ Heavens Oil, and I'll put you in the remind system that way. Otherwise, we are here every single Monday. I upload them to YouTube. And I appreciate everybody that listens to these recordings. And if you ever have information or more information you would like to give us, then please be sharing that with me, because I'd love to let everybody else know too. So again, I appreciate everybody for being here, and we will see you again next week. And I hope you got a lot of good information out of this and think more about your sleep pattern. See you soon. Bye.